Good morning, everybody. Hope you're having a great day. I was just hanging there, dropping Caleb off at school, and this guy knows everybody, and it's amazing. And if he doesn't know someone, there was a new janitor. It's not new, but new-ish. And Caleb and I went out of our way to say hello to her and get to know her, and that's important. And I'm not as good as my dad, but I like to try to get to know everybody and find out what they do and why they do it and who they are and what their story is. I remember when I went off to college when I was young. I was, I guess, 18. My dad, who hadn't done university or college or anything, he just said, the only advice that I can give you is to get to know everybody. Get to know the profs, get to know the groundskeepers, get to know the guy who runs the hot dog stand, get to know everybody. Because not only might getting to know them come in handy someday, but you'll also get to meet some really interesting people. And as my company, which was about 400 and change people across the country, we were absorbed into this big behemoth that I think is a pretty cool company. We're now at something like 14 or 15,000 people. And getting to know everybody is very difficult. And the advice that a lot of the people that I've been speaking to at this new company they've said is, you have to find the people who know the people. Those are the power brokers within this company, knowing who to talk to. And what's really cool is that already I'm starting to get the reputation as the guy who knows the people within my old company. I don't know all the systems. I don't know all the accounting functions. I'm more of a people, big person strategy kind of mind rather than the workflow process, A then B then C kind of guy. But I'm starting to get a reputation, a good one I hope, of being the guy who has his pulse on what's going on, kind of knows what people are thinking for the most part, and if you need a connection, I'm usually pretty good for that. I don't know everybody, but I know people who know people, and that's how these networks grow. And it's really, really served me well, and it served me, as I said, I remember a time where, so I was hanging out in university, and I saw this girl who was really unhappy. She looked like she was panicking a little bit. So I went up and said, I was living on campus at the time, and I said, are you okay? Can I help you? I'd also done Walk Safe, so people kind of knew me around the campus as someone who would help every now and then. But anyway, I said, are you okay? And she's like, no, I'm freaking out. I can't find my car keys. I can't get home without my car keys, obviously. I don't know where I left them. And I'm not really sure what to do. And she was panicking a little bit. So, okay, come with me. And the campus police were out doing their thing, so no one was there. So I grabbed one of the janitors, who can be a little surly sometimes, dealing with the shitheads on campus. And I remember saying, Evan, this is my friend so-and-so. She's lost her keys. She doesn't know where she's lost them. She was in this building. Any chance you guys can help us out? No problem, Joshua. Got on the horn. Hey, we're looking for some keys. Might be in this class or this class or this class. Yeah, no, I'm in this class. Yeah, here's some keys. I'll bring them out. Whatever. Not a big deal. But, and to be fair, they probably would have helped her anyway. But because I knew them, because I talked to them, because I know that his kids are going to the university here, and that really he took this job so that he could get his kids into university for virtually free. He could have had better paying jobs elsewhere, but he liked being around the kids, and he wanted to make sure that his kids had what they needed. I knew the story. I knew the guy. He was able to help me out, and we found her keys pretty quickly, and that was it. And Caleb who gets to know everybody, and they get to know how good he is and how wonderful he is. And because he talks with them and he remembers their stories, when he gets himself in a bit of trouble, you don't think they're out there batting for him? You don't think they're out there taking care of him because they know in his heart he's a good person? It's the same within university. I got to know the profs. We'd go have a beer. We'd hang out. We'd talk. They knew I cared. So if I struggled with a test or if I was struggling with a concept, they gave me the benefit of the doubt. They knew that I was working hard. They knew who I was. I was a face behind one of the thousands and thousands of names in that class. And they knew that, let's work with this guy. Or, man, I remember that he was the only one who came to the tutoring session. And although we ended up talking about my car or my dogs, I know that he cares, and he's the kind of guy who I'm going to go to bat for and I'm going to help him out with. And I think that's also partly why I'm gravitating towards coaching people, because coaching people is about helping people excel and about helping people thrive and grow. But first, you have to really know them, and you have to give a shit about them, and you have to be able to see that everybody, no matter their job or their station or their class or their race or their gender or their income level or anything, has value to offer to the world. Sometimes it's not always apparent. Sometimes it's not always obvious, but it's there. And you have to find it. And you have to believe that it's there. And when you have those kind of conversations with people, you start to see the world through a very, very different lens. You know, you start to see the lady who gives you coffee every day isn't the lady who gives you coffee. It's Diane, who has 2 kids, works 3 jobs, and is always happy and hates it when that one guy complains that the coffee's too hot and then complains that the coffee's too cold. That's what we call a relationship. That's what we call getting to know the human. It also helps you when you see the guy on the street who's asking for money. You don't just see a bum. You don't just see a potential drug addict. You can see the story behind who they are and maybe how they got there and how you can help them. And it's not always money. You know, you have to look to see what motivates people, what the story is, what's their background, why they are where they are. And that capacity to see value in everybody, regardless of how much they may drive you crazy, regardless of how they might look outwardly to be lazy or uninspired or malicious, there is a human behind there with a story. And I think that's what intrigues me about coaching, because if you're really good at it, if you really care, chances are good you're going to see the value in them before they even see it in themselves. And bringing that out in someone is the most powerful, most intoxicating thing that I've ever been able to accomplish. It's like alchemy. So I am very proud that it seems almost naturally, maybe he's watching me, I don't know, but that Caleb gets to know everybody, that he introduces himself, that he asks questions, that he loves to tell people stories. And I'm incredibly grateful that my dad is that way and encouraged me to be that way. I know it drives my wife nuts sometimes when we're at the restaurant and I just strike up a conversation with the server. We just start yammering back and forth. Hell, I've had good conversations with people at the drive-thru. But I don't know, maybe that connection, maybe the fact that somebody today gave a shit about me and my story is the difference between them thriving or collapsing. Maybe it's the difference between them giving up on the world. I don't know. But it has to start with genuineness. Genuinely giving a shit about the people around you. And I struggle with that because there's days where you just don't want to let everybody in. You don't want to hear everybody's story because there's a lot of stories. But don't ever give up on those people, and don't ever give up on that energy and that curiosity about other people. See the stories and the values behind the cover, behind what you see so quickly, behind the judgment, behind what kind of car they drive or clothes they wear. So, anyway, it was a fun day to start watching him do that. We got to meet Rachel, the lovely janitor at Caleb's school, who is very awesome, and helped me settle an argument with Caleb this morning, which will be a story for another day. I hope you have a fantastic one. Go meet someone new, hear their story, see their value, and allow other people to see value in you. Take care, and I'll see you tomorrow.